Special breaking news at home edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you as we have a trade alert. Nick Harris has been traded to the Cleveland Browns along with a 2026 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick. That's according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. This news not all surprising at all after the Seahawks signed Connor Williams earlier this week, and Harris is now the odd man out at the center position. So that leaves the Seahawks with Connor Williams as your starting center, with Olu as your backup center, and then Jalen Sundell also still on the roster for now as well, although he's not expected to remain on the roster much longer. But the Seahawks, they found a better option than Connor Williams, right? This is a surprise to no one that they ultimately make this move. Somebody was going to be the odd man out, and Nick Harris happened to be that guy. The only way that they were going to keep Nick Harris, potentially speaking, was if he was going to be moved to the fullback position, which he had played some with the Cleveland Browns. But it would appear that this Ryan Grubb offense isn't really going to use the fullback position like we've seen previously in Seattle with Nick Ballard, among others. So there wasn't really a place for Nick Harris anymore with this Seahawks offense at this point. Who won the trade? Was it the Cleveland Browns? Was it the Seattle Seahawks? It was a guy you were going to get rid of anyway, and you upgraded draft picks for it. I think it's a pretty good win for the Seahawks as far as I'm concerned. Give me your winner for this trade. Type S for Seahawks, type B for Browns. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. It's my off day. It's a Sunday afternoon. I've been just enjoying myself at home, getting ready to watch the NASCAR race. And here we are. Breaking news happens. And even on my off day, bringing you guys content. We are pushing hard to reach our next milestone of 54,000 subscribers on the channel. But we need your help to get there, folks. Subscribe now for daily news and rumors. Had a great time on our watch party last night. And we're going to be live for every single Seahawks game this season. We got our live show that we do during the middle of the week, as well as our Q&A interactive mailbags. All that and more, it's in one place right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Join the family of 12s for daily Seahawks content you won't find anywhere else. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now for free. All right, so now let's take a look at where the Seahawks offensive line stacks up. Last night didn't play so hot, if we're going to be honest with you, in the matchup against the LA Chargers in that preseason opener, especially at the beginning of this bowl game when we saw, some of the bigger names out there, if you will. Here's what we're looking at with the Seahawks offensive line. Charles Cross, your starting left tackle, entering year number 3. I've referenced this a lot, and I'll say it again. What we've heard from the likes of Albert Breer, for example, of Sports Illustrated's Monday Morning QB, he said that, hey, look, this should be the year that Charles Cross takes that next big step to be an elite left tackle in the National Football League. Yeah, he had the injuries last year, but now should be his time to shine, that he's capable of being that guy, and it's the biggest year of Charles Cross's career to this point. Let's see what Charles Cross can do. At the left guard spot, you got Laken Tomlinson, expected to be your starting left guard. And with Laken Tomlinson, it's kind of a big unknown, right? Is Laken Tomlinson going to be the Pro Bowl version that we saw at the guard spot when he was with the Niners in 2021? Or is he going to struggle like he did last year with the New York Jets? We shall see. The center position, with Connor Williams coming in, and Olu backing him up. Remember, Olu can play a little guard as well, so you got some positional flexibility with Olu backing him up. Just because Olu's not going to start doesn't mean that Olu won't get significant playing time in 2024. But you look at Connor Williams, one of the top 5 centers in all of football, the highest graded interior offensive lineman by Pro Football Focus last year. I think Connor Williams is going to do an excellent job. And he's progressed nicely. Remember, he had that Week 14 ACL tear last year. But even with the ACL tear, he has gotten back really quick. He is expected to take part in the rest of the Seahawks off-season activities here. And we should see him on the practice field sooner than later. So that's great news there. Drew Rosenhaus's agent says he's ready to go, that he should be able to play week 1. So that's very good news. And Mike McDonald made it very clear. He is playing center. Despite his experience playing guard, at other locations, he will play center, which is what he played last year with the Miami Dolphins. You go to the right guard spot. That's where things are very competitive. The most competitive position on the offensive line for Seattle is the right guard position. Anthony Bradford was the favorite to be the starting right guard, but then you drafted Christian Haynes. And Anthony Bradford last year, jury's still out on him. He was okay for what we saw of him last year in the limited sample size, if you will. But now you bring in Christian Haynes, and what I find interesting too, like as we go through this competition between the two of Bradford and Haynes, and Bradford's been getting more reps than Haynes at this point, but you would expect that. Haynes is a rookie, and they're going to make a rookie earn it, which has been the theme of what we've seen so far with all these rookies with the Seahawks team to this point. What I think it's interesting to keep an eye on is that, remember, Haynes is Mike McDonald and Ryan Grubb and Scott Huff's guy, right? And John Schneider loved Christian Haynes coming out of UConn. They were not expecting him to be available when they picked there in the 3rd round. They were prepared to potentially trade up for him. So he's their guy. Anthony Bradford was a John Schneider, Pete Carroll, Shane Waldron guy. Obviously, Schneider drafted both of them. But to me, I'm very curious how much of that, for Christian Haynes, how much does that help him in this competition, that he is McDonald and Grubb and Huff's investment and Anthony Bradford is not? That might give him an advantage here over the next couple of weeks. We'll see how that plays out. The right tackle spot, we're still waiting on Abraham Lucas at this point. Abe, my guy, I'm very concerned at this point in time. He's on the PUP list, still waiting for Abraham Lucas to get back. When Abraham Lucas has been healthy, he's been terrific, right? He's been just as good, if not better, than Charles Cross when he's been healthy. But that's the key, when he's been healthy. And, we hear him say that, hey, I'm getting back, I'm going to be ready to go and all this, and he's still not there, and we're a week into the preseason, still haven't seen Abe Lucas yet. I'm very worried about Abe Lucas. The offensive line is greatly improved with the addition of Connor Williams. Bringing him in this week, I think, was a great move by the Seattle Seahawks. But it doesn't mean that everything's fixed. I mean, you could breathe for a second. You feel better. You're not going to miss Nick Harris at all. But that doesn't mean that everything is, rainbows and daisies and all that everything's fixed. Like, I got questions at this point, really across the board right now. And the offensive line had some issues last night, so we'll see. Luckily, if Abraham Lucas isn't quite all there, George Fant you did bring in as a signing as your backup swing tackle, and he's more than capable to be a starting tackle if he needs to be. So you do have an insurance policy on Abe Lucas if he's not quite there. We'll see what George Fant could be. But the offensive line, I love the Connor Williams signing earlier this week. I think you've taken some tremendous steps in the right direction, but the job's not finished. There's still work to be done with this offensive line here. And watch out. I think that, losing Nick Harris, you're going to be okay. To me, it's actually a testament to the strength of this offensive line, how much better it's gotten, that you can afford to move on from a guy like Nick Harris. Because at the time Nick Harris was brought in back in free agency, it was like, okay, this guy might be a starting caliber center in the NFL. And he might give Olu a run for his money. Remember when ESPN put out their starters projection for every team in the NFL a while back? They projected the Seahawks starting center this season would be Nick Harris, not Olu. So for me, to me, that's a good sign of where things are at. Still work to be done, but the offensive line is headed in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. Folks, want to know, what is your confidence level in the Seahawks offensive line right now? I feel better than what I did at one point. I'm going with about a 7 out of 10. What is your confidence level at right now? Let me know, 1 through 10, how are you feeling about this Seahawks offensive line? Thanks for joining us here on this special at-home edition of Seahawks Today. Even on my off day, still bringing you guys content. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. Got some exciting stuff ahead. this week. If you can give us just a little thank you for even bringing you content on my off day, the easiest way you can support the show by hitting that sub button, we'd certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.